Hi, I'm Bud Summers. Welcome to Guitar Lessons with Bud. This is number 10, and what this is more of making bar chords easier. In lesson 8, we had talked about bar chords and trying to use the E form, which the E form, we had our first finger on the 3rd string at the 1st fret, second finger on the 5th string at the 2nd fret, and our 3rd finger right next to it there, 2nd string at the 4th finger. We played that E. Well, what we talked about also in that lesson was trying to get used to using your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers in those places. And I've talked about this in other lessons before, using pivot and guide fingers, using alternate fingerings. The more you can do this, the better off you're going to be as a player. We talked about G. A lot of people like to do it like this. Get to where you can do it like this too. It's going to help in the long run. So we did the E here, and then we also worked on the E this way. The big advantage to being able to do the E that way very comfortably and quickly get there is this. When you need to work on bar chords, then the E form is a pretty common one with bar chords. We've got an E already there. If we just slide it up 1 fret now, those open strings don't match up, so we put a bar down. That's our B-A-R-R. E, that's our first finger goes all the way across. Now it's not covering all the strings. We talked about this before. It's really only covering making the 6th string sound, the 2nd, and the 1st. Because you got fingers on the other strings. We also talked about how to work on doing that. We began with just the 1st finger covering 2 strings, added the 2nd finger. You can go back to that lesson if you need to review that some more. Okay, so that was using the E form. And then in lesson 7, we talked about power chords, which is where we're just using 2 fingers, 2 notes, just the root and the 5th of the chord. And the thing about those was we worked on the fact that whatever note is the lowest string with those forms. We have the 5th and the 4th string here. The lowest note, the lowest string we're playing on is the 5th string right there, and that's our 3rd finger, our 1st finger actually, I'm sorry, at the 3rd fret. Well, that note is a C, so it's a C5 or a C power chord. There we had a D, so it was a D power chord. G, A, these are the notes on the 6th string, and we'll do a lesson on that very soon on identifying these notes, because I know that's an issue for a lot of people as well. But today we want to work on the bar chord, the different bar chord using the A form. Now, again, as you look back at some of the other lessons, we played our A with our 1st finger here on the 3rd string, 2nd finger, and 3rd finger. And many of you were playing it another way, perhaps with your 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers like this, or using 2nd, 3rd, 4th fingers like this. Some of you were playing it like this already with your 1st finger, or 2nd finger, or 3rd finger. Any of those are just fine. There's a little exercise for you. Just keep playing an A chord. That's all I'm doing is I'm hitting my 5th string. You leave the 6th string out of this. All I'm doing is hitting my 5th string, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. I've got my 1st finger laying across, cover them all. Then my 2nd finger, then my 3rd, then my 4th, back to the 3rd, 2nd, 1st. A little exercise to work on getting those fingers to lay flat and cover strings. All right, anyway, today we are working on this A form. So when we want to do the A form, this is not the optimal way to play it. This is not the optimal way to play it. And this is not the optimal way to play it. The best way to do our bar chord when we're using the A form is to just use that 3rd finger flat, okay? Now notice, I'm at the 2nd fret right there, okay? And we talked before, the nut, and then fret, 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 fret. Between those frets, just behind the fret, is where we want to be. So there's our A. Now if we want a B, we know that A to B is a whole step. So a whole step on the guitar is 2 frets. 1 fret, 2 frets. Boom, there we go. 1 fret, 2 frets. So that's going to be a B chord. And we've got our 3rd finger just laying down here. Now all we're playing here is the 4th string, 3rd string, and 2nd string. We want to get them to sound together. Now to make this a bigger sounding chord, we want to add the 5th string to it. And all we have to do is add our 1st finger here. So our 1st finger, the 2nd fret, This looks very similar to our power chords. The only difference, instead of just playing 2 strings, we're laying that 3rd finger down and playing 3 strings, okay? So that's what we want to do there. That's a B. We can move it a half step to C. B to C is a half step. C to D is a whole step. Okay? Try moving that around. A, B, C, D, E. All right? Now, the way we did that little riff that I had going on there was this. I did it in the key of E. I had my E chord back to our original fingering that we looked at. 1st finger, 2nd finger, 3rd finger. And then I'm getting a nice full sound. Using the heel of my right hand right here blocking. And that's my A chord now with that 3rd finger laying across. Just 3rd. And then I hit the strings open. I lifted that off. Comfortable with that, and then we can go up and we can play it in different keys. One of the most common places you're going to see it is up here in the key of A. Now, for the key of A, we're going to use our E form, 1st, 2nd, 3rd finger. Instead of our 1st, 2nd, 3rd fingers, we slip our 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers onto these strings on the 3rd string here, 5th string, 4th string. Okay, now that's an E still. We got the open. We're not using our 1st finger. From E to F is a half step. So we move those fingers up a half step and add the bar behind it because we don't want those open strings now. From F to G is a whole step. So we move to the 3rd position. You have a dot there. 1st finger goes across, covers the 6th, 2nd, and 1st string. G to A is a whole step. So now we take this whole thing and we're now at the 5th fret, 5th position, playing our chord. And we get our right hand pattern the same. Notice all I'm doing there is what amounts to a D chord. I've got the 1st finger on the 5th string, and I'm using that 3rd finger to lay across. Okay, again, have some fun with this, work on the bar chords, and if you have any questions, comments, or any suggestions of things you'd like to know about, let me know. Thanks a lot. Bye.